Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. I want to talk a little bit about Jason Whitlock today. Jason had an interesting take, if you will. Interesting. Maybe not the right word, but that's the word I use sometimes when you're just like off the rails. Jason had an interesting take on the situation when the Indiana Fever played the Connecticut Sun. The situation where Jacy Sheldon poked Caitlin in the eye. Caitlin ended up on the floor. Of course, that situation also involved Tina Charles and, for sure, Marina Mabrey. His take was that Jacy Sheldon accidentally poked Caitlin in the eye, accidentally hit her in the face. Now, Jason's background is in sports. I know he played football. I don't know if he played basketball, but because he is around sports, sports writer, I'm sure he's familiar with how basketball works. So I'm sure he knows that Sheldon was not making a play on the ball. We're going to get a close look at this in a moment, but I'm convinced that there was absolutely no way Jason Whitlock believes what he said. He talks about her flopping around, etc. The idea that she was accidentally hit in the face, to me, defies, it's not even just common sense. It would defy what I'm looking at. And Jason as well. So my guess is that he is just taking that stand because it's going to provoke people. So I think he's pushing buttons and doing it on purpose. Similar something happened last year as well. So I guess he's good for one weird Caitlin Clark take a year. And this one is one of them. So we're going to go and take a look at what he had to say, at least a little bit. And I only watched a little bit. I lasted 3 to 5 minutes. And then I was like, okay, buddy, I get it. I get what you're doing. You're just trying to push buttons and provoke people. And so I had to keep it moving. Then there's Dan Dakich of Outkick. He went on and on about the flop and what Caitlin does. And so we'll get to that in a moment. But we got to first start with what Jason had to say. Let's go to X. As you see here, Jason's caption is, in my opinion, Caitlin Clark overreacted to being accidentally slapped in the face. This is the problem I've always had with her. She overreacts and can be a bit of a drama queen. It puts a target on her back. Now, Jason can have any opinion he wants to have about Caitlin, whether she overreacts, whether he thinks she's a drama queen, whatever. He's entitled to that. I take exception with the idea that she was accidentally slapped in the face, because I can't believe that watching that he would truly have that perspective. So my thought, my opinion, since we're talking opinion, my opinion is that Jason is just trying to get a rise out of everybody. Let's take a listen to a little bit of what he said.
Last night, when Jacy Sheldon they were pushing back and forth in the first and second quarters. Jacy Sheldon accidentally hit Caitlin Clark in the face. It was accidental. Caitlin Clark flopped around and acted like she got stabbed in the eye to make sure she got the whistle and got the penalty or whatever. To me, she overreacted to accidentally getting slapped in the face. Jacy Sheldon kind of walked towards Caitlin Clark, probably in a gesture to apologize, say, I'm sorry for slapping you in the face. Caitlin Clark shoves or pushes the Jacy Sheldon away, and that's when Marina Mabrey, the guard for the Connecticut Sun, who's not afraid of anybody, walked up on Caitlin Clark and bumped her, and Caitlin Clark, as she is prone to do, flopped to the ground as if she had been tackled by Dick Butkus or Ray Lewis. That's Caitlin Clark.
So twice there we hear him say, accidentally hit her in the face. And Caitlin flopped around, and Marina Mabrey's not afraid of anybody, so she came on up. So Caitlin overreacted according to Jason Whitlock. And again, there's no way he's looking at that and doesn't see what I'm going to show you. Now, from what he showed us, there, this is my point right there. He's showing footage of it. So I'm sure he can rewind and take a look if he's confused. I'm going to do my due diligence and I'm going to show you what really happened. Now, we're going to go over to Dan Dakich and what his perspective is on this. I don't know if he said anything about it being accidental or not. I did not last long with Mr. Dakich. I had to get on up out of there. Again, people's opinions are people's opinions, but I don't have to listen any longer than I want to. So let's go over to Dan Dakich and his impression of Caitlin Clark in this situation, at least a little bit of it.
I'm competing, and that's what I thought this young lady Sheldon was doing. I did. I thought Sheldon was competing her ass off. I thought she was guarding hard. I mean, what does Caitlin Clark want to do? They're going to show her 3 or 4 jump shots from 25 feet. It's what they're going to do. They should wrap Caitlin Clark in Teflon if she's going to fight and run away. But anyway, the referees are under no obligation to step in and protect Clark. Clark flopped. Then the player stepped in and protected him. Look, Mabry wasn't involved in the initial action. This is kind of the thing. You see it right here, Shelton against Clark. But Mabry did what good teammates do, gave her a little shot. Should maybe have been thrown out? I don't know. In the world of the NBA, they do. They act soft. Everybody that goes down the lane and gets hit, it's a 10-minute review and a flagrant foul. But the truth of the matter is Clark flopped. Clark flopped her ass off. Technical foul on Mabry, right. That's it. No ejection. Good. Good. See, referees suck in the WNBA. They're DEI hires and they're awful. But one thing that they did understand was, well, Caitlin Clark's a flopper. Caitlin Clark is a flopper. I'm supposed to call it a joke. No, but I won't do that. I thought they handled it absolutely perfectly. I did. I thought Mabry handled it perfectly. I thought that the girl Sheldon handled it perfectly. And I thought Clark did what Clark did. Flop, instigate, then run away. That's what she does.
It's interesting because when I first started listening to him the other day, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. When I first started listening to him, I was thinking that he was joking. Like he was just reporting on what Whitlock had said. But then very quickly I realized, no, this dude is serious. And so I just turned him off because I didn't appreciate the take, actually. So I don't have to listen, but that's his opinion. In any case, that's part of the problem with the league, that when you listen to Dan Dakich right there, it's excused when people act in a way that's violent, really. And they think that it's okay. Now, Caitlin's a flopper. That's what she does. According to Jason Whitlock, she overreacts, and that's why there's a target on her back. Meanwhile, the day before, he might have been talking about the fact that they're jealous and petty, and that's why they go after her. But now it's her fault because she overreacts. It's weird. In any case, what really happened matters. So I'm going to go over to an X account called Defiant Elves on X, and we're going to look at exactly what happened as Jacy Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. And if you have watched basketball and even have common sense, you know that this is not a play on the basketball. It's that simple. So let's go over there. Defiant Elves on X. This is all of 8 seconds long, so I'll play it through and then I will show you some things more closely. No sound, just pay careful attention. Okay, so Jacy Sheldon is riding Caitlin like a horse. In this 8 seconds, you don't even get to see the full extent of that. But Debbie Antonelli had pointed out in calling the game that she was displacing Caitlin. And she was. And the officials decided not to blow the whistle. And so here Caitlin is. There's Jacy on her. Now, I want you to watch Jacy. She's guarding Caitlin. The ball, if you can see my pointer, is over here. watch Sheldon's right hand. Hand goes up. Hand's not going to get to the ball. The hand has to go out to the ball, out to the ball. Instead, her hand, you can see the upward trajectory. Her hand goes up, 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 right to Caitlin's face. Now tell me this is accidental. The ball is here, down here. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to notice that her hand does not go for the ball, which would be straight out like this. Her hand goes up to Caitlin's face. So how anyone could say that this appears accidental, or excuse me, Jason Whitlock saying it is accidental, is just fake news. Purposeful fake news, in my opinion. So again, she's guarding, hand just goes up, doesn't go for the ball at all, goes directly from her waist past Caitlin's waist and to Caitlin's face. Right there. And then Caitlin, of course, responds as anybody would when they get poked in the eye. And that's where everything gets wild. So telling me that this thing was accidental and telling me, Jason and Dan, that she then just flopped and is being overly dramatic is ridiculous. You get poked in the eye, you're going to respond. Okay. And then Caitlin turns and JC's right there. And then here comes, Lexi's right in there. But here comes Bully Mabry and Tina Charles. And then Tina Charles puts her hands up like she didn't do anything. Let's look at Tina Charles again. Notice how Tina Charles comes running over with her finger pointed. She comes over like she's about to give a lecture to Caitlin for getting hurt. For your teammate poking her in the eye, riding her like a horse first, then poking her in the eye, and you come running over like grandma, and you got your hand pointed in her face. Maybe not grandma. Maybe more like this. Yeah, more like this, indeed.
Linda, or I'll fix you as well. Oh, rubbish. You have no power here. Be gone before somebody drops the house on you. Very well. I'll bide my time. And as for you, my fine lady, it's true, I can't attend you here and now as I'd like. But just try to stay out of my way. Just try. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Yeah, that's what she looked like coming over there. But I already showed you there wasn't a play on the ball. I've watched Jacy Sheldon play, or at least play Caitlin, and she is quite aware of how to slide her feet, how to play defense. She's riding Caitlin like a horse, but you can tell that she knows how to play defense. Too much physicality for me. She knows how to move her hands. She knows how to slide her feet. So the fact that she missed by a mile, if she were going for the ball, come on now. And again, I believe Jason knows that. He knows that. But I guess it was the day for him to give his weird Caitlin Clark take. No, Jason, she did not make a play on the ball. It wasn't accidental. If it was accidental, well, come on. I don't even know what to say to that. He watched it. Dan just thinks she's a flopper. Well, Dan, you and Jason line up and let us poke our fingers in your eyeball. Dejanay, are you available? Let's bring Dejanay over. I'm sure she'd be more than willing to test it out. Over on the second channel, Adrienne Ross Squared, I plan to do a video about why people associated with the WNBA, people like Monica McNutt, seem to really get a thrill out of talking about physicality, like the physicality / violence, if you want to be accurate, that takes place in this league, like we saw with Caitlin Clark and that whole situation. People really seem to get a thrill out of it, and they want to let you know this is great, like Monica McNutt. So make sure you're subscribed to Adrienne Ross Squared and turn your notifications on. The link to that channel will be in the description of this video. Haven't done that video yet, but be on the lookout. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundant.